Hi there and welcome back to Tripplikit, home of interesting electronics. And I suppose it's the Tripplikit ethos to try and have some fun with electronics without spending too much money, which I suppose inevitably means Chinese stuff off eBay. However, over the months we have had one or two, well, 3 or 4 or 5 tend to find this sort of stuff, which is just a chip and a few components soldered to a board. It's pretty reliable, but when it comes to actually buying built things, the problems start. There was the endoscope, which I can't even find anymore, I might have thrown it away, which I just couldn't get to work, and I made a video on that. And then there was the MIDI interface, which I was trying to measure the latency and blew up, and a guy left a comment that he had one of them and it was missing some vital components, never mind just faulty, which is ridiculous. There's also the power amp module, which is currently running at 2 videos, and I've given up on because I just can't seem to stop it being unusably noisy. And that brings us to PSU modules. Watch on. I have an application around the house which I haven't been making videos on, which requires a 12 volt supply. So I bought a 12 volt supply off of eBay, straight out of China, and the reason I'm making a video on it is because, well, Tripplikit sort of thrives on the fact you can buy electronic bits and pieces ridiculously cheap these days. So that's it. Costs £4.80 or something, and to me it seems crazy that you can actually ship something from a Chinese factory to my front door for £4.80, never mind make it. So anyway, here it is. I've just cobbled together a mains wire, which is plugged in at the back there, and I've got a cheap LED bulb which is plugged into the 12 volts on the power supply currently, and we turn it on it comes, and it lights up nicely. Just a sanity check to check the bulb works. So now if we put this light in here, which I think will take 2 hands, so I'll bring you back. Alright, so we've connected this LED bulb into the plus and minus. So should we turn it on over here and see what happens? Oh dear, that's not good. So if we stick a screwdriver in, there's a little adjuster pot there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and it starts flashing at that end of the pot adjustment. Oh. And we get our best results at that end. However, we stick the V meter across here, we get, sorry about the light in the camera and everything, oh, 10 volts, that's it. What happened to our 12? So I conclude that one thing you don't get for £4.80 when you buy a power supply is testing. And just build it and stick it together and send it out. So I couldn't be bothered
to send it back because I just wanted to get this job done, and I just didn't feel inclined to muck around trying to persuade eBay sellers to refund me and whatever, so I just ordered another one from a different seller, and this is it. It's slightly different according to the label, and okay, that's the mains end, but if we look at the DC end, whoops, the edge of the board I think is supposed to be between those two little tabs, but it ain't. It's come out, it's down, and it's resting on the case, so I suspect if I powered that up it would just go bang. However, I think I can possibly, with a small screwdriver, push that board back into position and make sure everything's good, and then we'll power it up and see if this one works. Okay, so I ended up pulling the top off to try and pull the sides apart so I could relocate the board, which as you can see I've done, but that is not a particularly modern looking piece of assembly, all through the hole, hand assembled. It's amazing that it's actually cheaper to hand assemble something than use surface mount on a machine. Right, well, I shall now put the top back on it and wire it up, and shall we see if it actually works. Okay, so here we are, we've wired it up, live neutral earth, looks good to me. Wired a cheapo G4 bulb across the output. Put a 1 amp fuse in the plug just in case. So I will put the camera in the stand and fire it up. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah, success. Success. That looks like it's putting out 12 volts and blinding the camera in the process. Right. Okay. I'm going to put the bulb in the box so we're not blinding the camera. I'm going to try and turn that. Won't reach. Won't reach. Talk amongst yourselves while I find a screwdriver that'll go in there. Right. So if we turn it, right, that's all the way down. Right, turned her upside down. So how many volts are coming out of that? .11 on minimum. What screwdriver was I using? Sorry, I'm going to get blinded again. I'm going to get blinded. .91 on maximum. Okay, I think we can call that one a success after I repaired its assembly. So I decided to upgrade the light in the cooker hood in the kitchen because it has 2 bulbs at the back which don't cast any light on anything useful.
So I decided to put an LED strip across the front, powered by a power supply, that one. So, shall we, without further ado, connect this one up and see if it does anything. Okay, so we're all wired up after a fashion. Just pulling the wire off. Wired up to this little LED light, just to give it some load. Plugged in over in the back there, but not turned on. So, what say? Shall we power her up? That one. It is. And there we go. We have light, 12.23 volts. And I'll leave it on for a few minutes, but I think we've got a win there. And it says on it, excuse me, get my head in the way, warning, high temperature, please do not touch the surface, which is a little worrying on a plastic box. So I shall leave it running for a bit, and if it melts I shall bring you back and tell you about it. Okay, so while I'm giving that little power supply a few minutes soak test, I thought I'd tear into this. Let's see what we've got in. As I say, guy commented on YouTube he had one that was actually missing some components. Whoops, there we go. Including the opto isolator, which is sort of the point of a MIDI interface. So let's see what's in here. And well, it's all there. Right, I shall have a quick look around with my high powered magnifier, which is just going to be a shot of the back of my head, so I'll spare you it. Okay, hopefully the camera will focus. So neither of these chips have anything written on the top, so no idea what they are. But significantly there is no opto isolator, which MIDI interfaces should have. It's specified on MIDI, so this really is a very naughty MIDI interface. Okay, don't know whether you're going to see this. That probe is on the ground, the USB ground. That probe that probe is on the input. That probe is on the input MIDI, and if I can hold it on long enough, you'll see there is, whoops, about an ohm there. So, very naughty. I think I'm just going to give up on it and bin it. And I replaced it with an M Audio one, because at least it'll be made in China, but they have some kind of a brand name to protect, so it should be good. So on that note, I think we'll call it a day for this video. So it's goodbye from Tripplikit, home of interesting electronics. Subscribe, leave a comment, a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.